Worked together a long time ago. They're not friends now. They don't like each other. And yeah, 50 has taken every shot, especially when Diddy has been.
There was an insane party in Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills, on Saturday night. And in terms of net wealth, 3 people alone made it $1 trillion party. This was Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party, and it was held at the home of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez in Beverly Hills.
Kris Jenner is facing one of the most intense moments of her life as new allegations surface, and the spotlight is on her more than ever. The drama started when 50 Cent decided to take aim at Diddy, exposing shocking secret payments and financial dealings that no one saw coming. But this time, Kris Jenner has been pulled into the story in a way that has everyone talking. Sources are claiming that her name and connections are deeply intertwined with some of the most controversial money moves in Hollywood. The situation is getting more complicated by the day, and it looks like Kris is scrambling to manage the fallout. The focus is on a California community church that Kris Jenner reportedly started back in 2009. On the surface, it looked like a regular church with community outreach and events, but insiders are now saying it may have been used as a tax shelter. According to these sources, members were required to contribute around $1,000 a month plus 10% of their income, all while claiming tax-exempt status. The controversy comes in because it's believed that money from this church was not being used solely for religious purposes, but instead was funneling money in ways that benefited the Kris Jenner family directly. If this is true, it could be seen as a clever but legally questionable way to manage large sums of money while avoiding taxes. Adding another layer to this drama is the connection to Britney Spears and her conservatorship. In 2018, Kris Jenner became the trustee of Britney's largest financial trust. Around the same time, roughly $600 million disappeared from Britney's accounts and ended up in a holding company in Panama. Britney's former manager has been linked to both Diddy and Kris Jenner. She was reportedly managing Diddy's finances in the past, while also being involved in Britney's financial affairs. The overlap between these individuals, combined with the flow of money, has raised serious questions among insiders and experts watching the situation unfold. Longtime partner also comes into the picture. Back in 2020, he posted on Instagram thanking Kim Porter and Diddy for their support in his life. At the time, it seemed like a harmless tribute, but now people are questioning his involvement in Diddy's financial network. Sources say Corey wasn't just attending parties for fun, he was moving in influential circles, potentially acting as a bridge between the Kardashian family and other powerful figures connected to Diddy's operations. This could put him under serious scrutiny if investigators start connecting the dots. The situation escalated further when Corey unfollowed Diddy on Instagram just before his properties were raided. Many are questioning whether this was a coincidence or an attempt to distance themselves from potential legal troubles. With digital trails being nearly impossible to erase, even deleting posts could be interpreted as trying to cover up evidence. Every move Kris Jenner makes now is being watched and analyzed for patterns that could suggest wrongdoing. The timing of certain financial events adds to the suspicion. Kris Jenner reportedly received a $600 million windfall around the same period Britney's money went missing, coinciding with the sale of half of Kris Jenner. This kind of timing raises questions about whether it was a coincidence or something more calculated. The sale of Kylie Cosmetics went through a holding company in Delaware, known for its secrecy laws, and Lou Taylor was reportedly involved in advising on the deal. If federal investigators trace the money, it could lead to questions about whether these transactions were completely above board. Kris Jenner involvement doesn't stop there. She is also linked to the setup of Kris Jenner's California Community Church, which critics have called a tax shelter. Her husband served as a trustee for Britney Spears' estate during the time money went missing.
Painfully, it was just the whole entire every single day it was something different, and it was very difficult because my ex-husband was on one side and, I was kind of on the other. The kids were in the middle, and it was trying to explain this to children, and then OJ had called, and, everybody lost so much that night. It was, you lost everything you knew.
These connections suggest a network of influence and financial control that ties Kris Jenner, Kris Jenner, and Diddy together in ways that could be problematic if under investigation. Diddy has always been known for her ability to control narratives and finances. Her reality TV contracts reportedly include clauses that allow for financial flexibility, which some insiders describe as a way to keep certain payments off the books. This kind of control has helped build the Diddy empire, but in light of the new allegations, it could also be seen as a potential tool for moving money in questionable ways. The combination of reality TV contracts, high-profile financial transactions, and ties to Diddy and other figures has created a complex web that could draw legal scrutiny. Social media activity has become a key element in the unfolding story. Diddy has deleted certain posts involving Diddy, which some are claiming could be seen as an attempt to destroy evidence. In a RICO investigation, destroying digital evidence is considered a serious offense. The charges don't require direct involvement in the financial dealings themselves. Prosecutors just need to show a pattern of behavior, connections, and financial activity that points toward conspiracy. Kris Jenner's years of controlling information, combined with the digital trail, could make this situation very risky for her. Within the family, tension is reportedly rising. Diddy is said to be upset over the MAC Cosmetics deal, which reportedly came after the Instagram unfollows and before Diddy's property raids. Kylie Jenner has been silent about the missing money, and Diddy commented on the Diddy situation. These internal tensions suggest that the family is struggling to manage both public perception and potential legal exposure. The pressure on Kris Jenner to protect herself and her daughters is intense, and every move who has a history of conflicts with the Diddys. This collaboration could result in a highly detailed exposé that lays out the connections between Diddy, Jenner, and other key figures. The evidence being gathered could provide investigators with a roadmap for understanding how money moved through various entities and potentially uncover any wrongdoing. The timing of events in Britney Spears' case is also notable. Around the time her money allegedly disappeared, there were major financial moves by the family, including the sale of Kylie Cosmetics and financial windfalls for Diddy. Investigators will likely look at these events together to determine whether there is a connection. The overlapping timing, combined with connections between Lou and Diddy, suggests a network that could be more than coincidental. The potential legal exposure is serious. RICO cases focus on patterns of behavior, associations, and financial activity rather than just isolated incidents. If the evidence shows a consistent pattern linking the Diddys to questionable financial moves, it could be very damaging. Kris Jenner, who has always been a master at managing her family's public image, may now face scrutiny that her reputation and control cannot easily counter. Her entire career has been built on managing public perception and financial power, but in a RICO case, perception matters less than the paper trail. The media is also playing a significant role. Many outlets are focusing on the scandal aspect, emphasizing the drama surrounding the Jenners rather than investigating the deeper connections. This creates a gap between public perception and potential legal realities. While the public sees celebrity drama, investigators may be focused on uncovering financial schemes, tracing money, and connecting individuals to potential criminal activity. This is why 50 Cent's documentary could have more impact than typical media coverage. It could provide information in a format that is harder to ignore and may reach law enforcement indirectly through public exposure. Diddy's circle is another focal point. His decade-long relationship with Kris Jenner and presence at Diddy's events could put him under scrutiny if investigators suspect he played a role in facilitating financial transactions. His Instagram post thanking Diddy and Kim Porter now appears significant in a way that it might not have when it was originally posted. This illustrates how actions in the past can gain new meaning when viewed in the context of an investigation. The involvement of Lou Taylor in multiple key areas is striking. She helped establish the sale of Kris Cosmetics through a holding company in Delaware is particularly noteworthy because Delaware is known for its corporate secrecy laws. This means that tracing the movement of money may be more difficult, but also more suspicious to investigators who are trained to look for patterns of financial concealment. The overlap with other financial moves, such as Kim's windfall and Britney's missing funds, could be used to argue that there was a pattern of coordination aimed at keeping money off public records or in controlled entities. The reality TV contracts negotiated by Kris Jenner may also come under scrutiny. Clauses that allow for financial flexibility, often described in industry terms as off-book payments, could be interpreted as mechanisms for moving money in ways that avoid transparency. If investigators connect these contracts to other questionable financial activities, it could become part of a larger argument for coordinated financial misconduct. Kris Jenner's response to the unfolding situation is critical. She has the option to cooperate with investigators or attempt to shield herself and her family from scrutiny. The challenge is that every public action or deleted post is being interpreted through the lens of potential legal consequences. In a case, patterns of behavior are more important than individual actions, so long-term strategies and connections will likely be examined in detail. The broader implications for the family are significant. Children like North and the younger Kris may be exposed to public scrutiny and questions about their family's finances. The pressure on Kris Jenner to protect her children while managing potential legal fallout adds another layer of complexity to an already intense situation. 50 Cent's involvement raises the stakes even higher. By producing a documentary that highlights these financial connections, he is not just telling a story for entertainment purposes, he is providing a potential roadmap that could be used by investigators. The combination of celebrity exposure, financial evidence, and insider testimony could create a situation where law enforcement and prosecutors take a closer look at previously overlooked connections. Even if the documentary only reveals part of the story, it could have real consequences. Federal investigators often pay attention to patterns and connections, especially when they involve large sums of money and potential financial misconduct. The overlap between the Diddy, Britney, and Kris Jenner connections creates a complex but traceable web of transactions that may draw serious attention. At the same time, Kris Jenner's position as the public face of her family adds both protection and risk. Her fame allows her to control narratives in the media, but it also means that every action, statement, and association is highly visible. This visibility can be a double-edged sword in legal matters, as public perception and digital records can be used to support investigations. The timing of various financial transactions, including the sale of Kylie Cosmetics, Kim's windfall, and Britney's missing money, Kris Jenner's role in managing her family's finances and public image has been a core part of her success. However, when financial dealings are connected to high-profile figures like Diddy and linked to missing funds in Britney Spears' estate, the stakes are higher than ever. The situation could involve RICO investigations, potential financial crimes, and long-term scrutiny of both public and private actions. The ongoing coverage and the upcoming 50 Cent documentary mean that public attention will remain high. Every decision, whether it is deleting a post, making a statement, or adjusting financial records, will be analyzed for patterns. The combination of media exposure, public scrutiny, and potential legal action creates an environment where mistakes could be very costly. This situation serves as a reminder of how intertwined fame, money, and legal scrutiny can be. The Kardashians are accustomed to controlling their public image, but the addition of financial allegations, federal investigations, and insider testimony changes the game entirely. Every connection, past or present, could be examined for signs of misconduct. The role of outsiders like 50 Cent and Ye illustrates how influence and information can shape investigations. By providing documentation, testimony, and evidence to the public, they are effectively increasing pressure on those under scrutiny. The potential for exposure, combined with legal analysis, means that Kris Jenner and her associates must navigate this situation very carefully. Even as Kris Jenner works to protect her family and manage public perception, the legal implications are real. Federal investigators focus on financial patterns, associations, and documented transactions. The combination of digital evidence, insider testimony, and financial records could create a compelling case for scrutiny. Every post, transaction, and connection may be examined in light of RICO laws and potential financial crimes. The broader question remains whether this situation represents a coordinated scheme or the actions of individuals making isolated financial decisions. The overlap of major financial events, insider connections, and public exposure suggests a pattern that could interest investigators. If true, this could have consequences not only for Kris Jenner, but also for her family, associates, and potentially others involved in these financial networks. The stakes are incredibly high. Kris Jenner has spent decades building an empire, managing public perception, and controlling finances. If federal investigators determine that there were coordinated efforts to redirect or conceal funds, the legal and reputational consequences could be severe. Every connection, from Corey Gamble to Lou Taylor, and from Diddy to the church, may come under scrutiny as part of this investigation. In summary, Kris Jenner's current situation is a complex web of financial, legal, and personal challenges. The involvement of high-profile figures, the timing of financial events, the potential connections to missing money in Britney Spears' estate, and the influence of insiders like Lou Taylor and Corey Gamble create a scenario that is both highly volatile and deeply concerning. With 50 Cent producing a documentary that may reveal new information and public attention remaining intense, the pressure on Kris Jenner has never been higher. The decisions she makes now, both publicly and privately, could determine the future of her family, her reputation, and her empire.